Before the video starts, I just wanted to let you guys know I've been using MacFly Pro to clean my Mac and keep it free from all of the junk that eats up my hard drive. It's even compatible with macOS Mojave, so check it out by heading down to the link in the description below. Hey guys, it's Jeff, and today we are on the Mac taking a look at the new MacBook Pro Apple just released this morning. And I think the highlight for this MacBook is that it has a 6-core processor. So basically, the new MacBook Pros with the higher core will be a lot more powerful than the quad-core processors that we've been seeing in the previous generation MacBook Pros. But what really concerns me is the heat. I don't know how this will handle the heat given the last MacBook Pros didn't do so well with heat. So we'll see how that works, but let's take a quick look at the specs you can get here. So we're going to go and purchase one today. So we might as well go ahead and take a look at all the specs. So if we go to the spec page here, we see that we have a 2.3 gigahertz processor for the 13-inch. So we have still the 7th generation Intel Core i5 processors, and then we have the 8th generation i5 processor for the new one. So they still have the old ones available and you can get the new one, but it is starting at $17.99 for the 13-inch model. So that runs at 2.3 gigahertz and it turbo boosts up to 3.8 gigahertz. And we have 8 gigabytes of memory that it comes with, so that's super cool. And that's just like a very entry level computer for all of you creators that want to get into maybe some light video editing. Now this is the lineup that I will be looking at simply because I want to be able to edit video on the go. I have an iMac Pro obviously, so I won't be needing to use this as my main editing machine. So I'm going to go with the cheaper model. But let's see exactly what you get with the more expensive model, because obviously people want to see exactly what this can handle. So we have a Core i9 processor, basically running at 2.9 gigahertz, and it turbo boosts up to 4.8. That is massive, but again, I just hope that Apple figured something out with the heat, because obviously when you add more cores and more power, that is going to take up more heat. Now, this is kind of like the highlight of the MacBook Pros. We are not capped at a certain memory anymore. We have the availability to go up to 32 gigabytes of DDR4 memory. So that's super cool. A lot of video editors that use Final Cut Pro, obviously a lot of the scrubbing and everything is rely on memory. So the more you have, the more consistent and more smooth it will be. So that's very promising for Apple thinking about creators. And then another highlight is that we have more SSD storage. Now, you won't be liking the price of the SSD storage, $3,200, which is currently more than this entire computer just to upgrade to 4 terabytes. I personally use external storage that works pretty quickly. It is SSD based, so I can't really justify making this upgrade, to be honest. I'm going to go for a lower memory configuration even than the 512 gigabyte SSD. So I can't justify that, but that is all the upgrades for the highest end MacBook Pro. And let's go and take a look at what we are going to order. So we're going to go and order the kind of mid-tier level MacBook Pro in the 15-inch model. So we are going to go for the 2.2 gigahertz 6-core 8th generation Intel Core i7 processor, and we might upgrade that. I'm debating on whether to upgrade that to the i9. We'll see, but both of these processors are very capable of doing what you need it to do as far as video editing, and not very heavy video editing. So I'll debate whether I'm going to get the upgraded version, but I'm not quite sure just yet. But the memory, we're definitely going to upgrade that to 32 gigabytes because just memory alone, when you're dealing like with just basic web browsing, you want to have more memory, because basically everything that you are opening runs off of some sort of memory or some portion of that memory. So I do a lot of multitasking and everything like that, and I definitely want to have some more memory. And yeah, it's obviously good for what I do, which is video editing. So if I need to do something on the go, we'll be able to do that smoothly. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is the new Radeon Pro 560X. Now, I haven't read anything about this graphics card, so I'll have to go and take a closer look at exactly what they're offering you. But between the 555 and the 560, I am not sure at all what the difference is. It's only $100. We have the 4 gigabytes of DDR5 memory, so there's no memory like upgrade, which is what you typically see, and that's typically more expensive to make that upgrade. So I'm not sure exactly what the upgrade is here. My guess for you guys is that this is basically a speed. Basically the Radeon Pro 560X probably runs at a higher speed than the 555X, but nevertheless, I'm not going to spend that extra $100 simply because I'm not going to be using this as my main editing machine. So I can't justify, wasting $100 on something I don't need. Of course, we can't upgrade that later, but I am absolutely 100% certain I won't be needing that. Now, as far as storage goes, as I said before, I can't justify these storage prices. Going up just like $200 maybe, but once you get into the terabyte 2 and 4 range, it's just way too much. So we're going to be going with 256, and we edit off an external SSD, which is, it's not just as fast because obviously it's not soldered onto the board, but it works for me, and that's all I need for video editing. So that's about it, guys. That is going to be our total, $27.99. Hopefully we'll have this in. I checked earlier. We should have it in by like the 16th or 17th as far as order dates. Hopefully that doesn't change with this configuration that we're going with. I know it says 18th to 20th. It changed just a little bit, but we'll see exactly what the shipping is. Now, another thing that I wanted to go over with you very quickly is when you go to the spec sheet here, basically everything's the same. You can take a look at it for yourself. I'll have this link down below, but everything is almost the same. You just obviously have different memory and different CPUs, processors. So obviously Apple is going to market that as much as they can. They're giving you a lot of examples as far as what that new processor is going to do for you in certain programs, like Final Cut Pro, Compressor, working in Adobe Workshop. So they are basically highlighting that, and same with the higher memory specs. So just go take a look at that. They have a lot of good examples here, but I think that the main thing that I want to talk to you about is a little farther down. They obviously have the memory here, the storage, and the thing I wanted to talk to you about was the display. We now have True Tone, which is really cool. So you can go over what I just scrolled over right now, but we have 500 nits brightness, nothing new, 25% more colors than sRGB, and then we have the True Tone technology, which is super cool. So that's really interesting. I think I will definitely use that. I use it on my iPhone all the time. So I'm really impressed with what they did with the display, given the display was already good to begin with. I've had no quarrels with the display ever on a MacBook Pro because it's just simply amazing. So guys, go take a look at this. I am going to be running benchmarks and everything with the previous generation of Mac OS, which is High Sierra, versus Mojave, and then I'll update to Mojave and see exactly how that affects these speeds. So stay tuned for that video. Get subscribed if you want to see some other content on the new MacBook Pro. I will have it next week, so stay tuned for that video where we'll feature the new MacBook Pro. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.